Hello everybody, Hellcrex here, and welcome to another Mercenary Thoughts from the Inner Sphere, episode 368. Today we're going to be talking about the Ishtar Heavy Fire Support Tank. Alright, say that 10 times fast. Alright, it's a 1400 battle value vehicle that comes out there with a fusion reactor on board. It is 65 tons of clan equipment. Yep. There you go. Alright, it's a 3-5 mover, so it's slow. So basically, think about it this way. You definitely don't want anything near this thing, or else it's going to die, because it's not going to have very many mods, if any. Lucky if it has a 1 mod, unless it's parking someplace in some type of terrain to give it some more. Now, if you're running across an open field, fast, straightforward, you get to, yeah. So against clans, that's pretty much nothing. It's like you think about when you're fighting against clans. If you don't have one mod is none, 2 mod is 1. Think of it in that terms, because their gunnery's so good. So it's a 3-5 moving 65-ton tank. Yeah, it has 7.5 tons of ferrofibrous armor. Okay. So it's well protected, so it's got 144 points. It does have some armor to protect it for a short period of time before it gets obliterated. So basically you got 32 in the front and 30 on the sides, 24 in the rear, and 28 in the turret. So if you got this thing down in a hull down position, actually you could probably stand around for a while, even though you'd have to fire your one of your weapons indirectly. Okay. But, you can get the job done. Alright, so, equipment-wise. This thing, since it's so slow, it's like I played Dystopian Wars for many, many years with Spartan Games. And, because, hey, who doesn't, it's like when you love Battletech and then you get into a game system that's very similar in some aspects. You're playing warfare in the dystopian era. And you see this thing, it's like some American tanks that were in the game, the Federation, FSA, Federated States of America. Their one small little micro tank that they always use, it's a token, looks just like this for some mysterious reason. Copy maybe? I don't know. But, yeah, that's a little tangent there. Some people would probably say, that looks like an orc vehicle from Warhammer. Yeah, I could see that too. But it's more of a dystopian war style vehicle. Get that kind of that. If you ever looked at one of those early Russian tanks, that had these big giant wheels on them and they run around. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Okay, let's go back. We went on a tangent way out there into La La Land, so you get an idea of some of the stuff I love to play. All right, so weapons wise. Well, this thing has 2 ER medium lasers on the front slope. So on the front, it has an anti-missile system on the front with 2 tons of ammunition. Okay. Then it has a LBX autocannon on the turret with 2 tons of ammunition. Then it has an Ultra 10 cannon in the turret with 2 tons of ammunition. Okay. And then we have an LRM-15 on the front slope with Artemis fire control and 2 tons of ammunition. So it does have a lot of capability of sending stuff down range. So if you throw this thing into a hull down position, where it can hide behind some terrain, and it can dish out some good amount of damage. Even like I said before, it's like if you're a hull down, that LRM's going to have to fire indirect. But, keeps the vehicle alive, and you keep your firepower in the game longer. Because I can guarantee you, the moment one of these things shows up on the battlefield out in the open, it's like, should we shoot the annoying mech that's going really fast, or shoot the really slow tank and kill it, eliminating it from the game? Some of the things you got to weigh when you're playing Battletech. Personally, get rid of the slow-moving, annoying firepower platform. All right? Then focus on trying to kill that fast-moving, little annoying mech. So the more things you can eliminate from your enemies' firepower, there, it works good for you. All right, so pretty much that's how I would use this vehicle. If you can get it into a hull down, go do it. Yeah, you're eliminating some of your capability, your firepower, but you're keeping it in the game a little bit longer. But one of the things that I find interesting is that you have an LBX cannon, which I love LBX cannons. You can fire it solid shot, or you can fire it cluster munitions. You got 2 tons. You're obviously going to take one of each, guaranteed. That's just a no-brainer for me. Then you have the ultra cannon with 2 tons of ammunition. Basically, that equates to mostly you're going to be firing 10 to 14 times with that system, because when you're farther out, you're not going to be double pumping. If you got a higher firing solution, let's say, oh, I need a 10 to hit. Are you going to really firing double pumped auto can, ultra? Probably not, because you're probably going to be wasting ammunition. Most likely you're going to fire 1, and then later on when you get closer, if you're still alive, like I said, you see this target out there, it might die, okay? But the odds are, well, that's one thing you can't have to worry about, is that if you're going to die quicker, so are you going to send out a double pumped round, even though you're probably not going to be able to hit, so you're really eliminating how long the tank can be in the game. Now, if you're in a hull down position and you got a good firing solution, oh yeah, go ahead, throw 2 down range and just see what sticks. But typically, this is one of those vehicles that you're going to be firing. You're coming in behind you're going to have mechs in front of you, and this is something like the Hell Horses would probably use on a regular basis. So you're going to throw it out there, and you will follow up. So you're going to be doing a lot of damage to targets possibly behind the line. So your mechs are doing, attracting attention, trying to maneuver and everything. These guys are slowly crawling forward behind you in a nice little line formation, throwing firepower down range. And then if there's mechs, like say you get a heavy or assault mech that's got a bunch of holes in it, you're loving. Say, hey, here comes, like, you got a few of these on the table. Those cluster munitions from the LBX are going, hello, yeah, we're going to love the critting you into lots of different ways. And if one tank takes out all the crit slots and just moves in and say, oh, let's just transfer to the next portion. And that's how you can cascade a mech into pieces. So, nothing, hey, gotta love it, right? So, there you go. So that's pretty much how I'm going to use the Ishtar, just a bog standard style Ishtar. It's not bad, not fast by any means, but it does have a purpose. But the problem is, with 1400 battle value, some people might rather have a mech that has more mobility than a slow-moving fire support tank. That's the things you got to weigh out. Now, if you're going sort of like I said, the Clan Hell Horse, which will have a propensity for more vehicles, yeah, you probably will see a few of these on the table. It's just the nature of how they fight. They like the combined arms aspect that they never got rid of it. So if you want to play the Hell Horses, go ahead, throw these guys on the table and see what happens. See what sticks. All right. Now, there's a couple other versions of this vehicle. Now, there's the original version. This was early, back when they first designed this thing. The original one didn't have the anti-missile system, and this only had an ultra cannon and the LBX cannon, and it still had an Artemis-controlled LRM-10 instead of the 15. Obviously, that's inner sphere style weapons, so you're not going to be able to put as much on it. And you're going to have, it comes in at, 1,070 battle value. So it's a lot cheaper, but you don't have as many weapons that are as good, okay? Now, damage output, almost identical, except, you got an LRM-10 versus the 15. All right. And let's see. I have to think here. What is these? Let me look at here. I do have it someplace. Where's the original? Here's the. I think the original. Was it a 4? Yes, it's also a 4-5 or 4-6 mover. That's what I was trying to remember. It's a 4-6. It's clan weapons. There you go. But it's faster. So it's a 4-6 moving tank. Really, to be honest, you're not gaining much from being a 4-6 over a 3-5 to some extent. Yeah, it's like you can, you know, if you have some type of terrain in your way or a hill, yeah, you might be able to move a little quicker and still maintain that 1 or 2 mod. You know, a lot of times you're always going to be wanting that 1 mod at least minimum. So it's a slightly easier job to do it as a 4-6. So there's that. But overall, yeah, you're losing some firepower. Now, the advent of having an anti-missile system on board, yeah, that's nice. Because if somebody's sending any type of missiles your way, you can hose a few of them and knock down some of that damage coming your way. Doesn't do you any good against energy or, you know, ballistic weapons. But against missiles, yeah, there you go. Kind of handy. You don't get that on the original version, which only has the LRM-10, LBX-10, and the Ultra Cannon with 2 tons of ammunition. So it maintains the same style, or 1 ton ammunition with the LRM. So it sort of still maintains that firepower output, but a little slightly different. Now, let's see what we got here. The next one is the Gauss rifle version. Okay. This one is kind of interesting. This came out during the Jihad era. It replaces the LBX cannon and the Ultra Cannon for a Gauss rifle and a HAG-20, or Hyper Assault Gauss rifle. So the HAG-20, so your damage output can be slightly less. If you're looking at if you can double pump the auto cannon, well, I guess you're breaking a little bit harder on this side with this weapons loadout per se. But, you know, this one comes in at 1,600 battle value. I don't mind having the idea of having a Gauss rifle and now if you have doing operations where you have a few of these Ishtars on the table, you might have a couple of the versions that have the, you know, the autocannon and the LBX on it. And then you might have 1, maybe 2 of these in your lineup. So it would be kind of helpful because then you got some hole punchers with these guys. Now the HAG, obviously, when you hit, you got to roll on the 20 chart and see how many hits you get. But, you know, and it's set up in 5-point blocks. So it is possible to do all 20, but then you could really screw the pooch there and do hardly any damage, you know, like a typical LRM-20. So you're going to be hitting with 6, 9, you know, that going down that route. So 16, 20. So yeah, I kind of like this. Like I said, throw a few of these little buggers into the mix. Let me see. I got the chart here for it. All right, the Ishtar heavy support Gauss rifle version. So you got 2 ER medium lasers. So you still got some good damage out to 15 with those. You got the LRM-15 with RMS fire control. So if there's no ECM around, you're going to be doing a little bit better on that damage output with that. The Gauss rifle is great. Love the Gauss rifle for hole punching. Now the HAG-20, like I said, you might have possibility of doing up to 20, but it's going to be spread around. You know, it's going to hit your target and just kind of scatter shot everywhere. You may not hit in the same position all the time. You know, that's okay. You know, so you're scraping armor off. But that Gauss rifle, and if you're firing direct fire with the 2 ER medium lasers, yeah, you're going to be scraping some armor off somebody, and then doing some good damage. Especially if you're facing off against some heavy or assault style mechs that may not be moving as fast. If you look at a Diashi, it's like, or Warhawk or something like that, they may have or Timberwolf. You know, you're looking at something. They got some speed with some of those, but you start hitting them and you scrape the armor off. You know, it's like you're using these. I guess the way I look at it is, some ways you get order operations kind of thing. I always look at, what do I want to hit first? It's like, do you want the tanks to fire off first and scrape the armor off of them and then follow up with mechs, depending on what type of mech loadout you got? Or you may want to fire these guys last and hope for a bunch of crits. You know, it's one way or the other. Now, if I had the Gauss rifle version, I'd probably fire those first, just because I want to punch holes as quickly as possible, and then I would probably follow up with the LBX version for with the cluster munitions to start crit parade on these guys. So that's kind of like how I think about it when I'm looking at a vehicle like this. And working in conjunction, it's like, yeah, this is combined arms. You may even have some battle infantry roaming the battlefield. You know, you got some battle armor that can suddenly jump into the fray and start trying to use their can openers on the mech's cockpit. Yeah, go that route, doing their own mech attacks. So lots of different options. So there's many ways to look at this game, and something to think about when it comes to throwing some firepower downrange. You know, there you go. Now, that is pretty much the Ishtar, I do believe. I don't think there's anything else with it. Yeah, that's it. So there is some good options with this vehicle. Like I said, it's slow. If the enemy decides to focus on one of these things, it will die. You know, it will die a horrible death pretty quickly. But if they don't, you are throwing a lot of firepower down range with these things. And the other thing to think about is, if they're focusing on your vehicles to kill them, they're not hitting your mechs. So your mechs may be able to get into the flanks, into the rear. So, or else if you've got your mechs trying to get into the rear with them, they are now deciding, oh my gosh, I got to either back up. You're making them play your game. All right, there you know, things to think about. All right, so that's the Ishtar, the heavy fire support tank. Not bad. I like it. Useful. It can die a horrible death, or it can make your opponent wish they never seen the things. All right, that's it. Hope you guys like it. Like and subscribe, share with your friends, and we'll see you in the next one. Elcrex out.